Welcome to day 2 of my Christmas baking. Today I'll be finishing off my Christmas pudding and also the mincemeat. Thank you to everyone who watched yesterday's video and really enjoyed it. It wasn't meant to be a comedy. It did turn out to be a bit like that, but today will maybe be a bit more sensible because I've actually been asked to show people how to properly make a Christmas pudding. So fingers crossed, I'm a lot more organised. I've weighed everything out. I've had a good clear down. Mark's not about to come through the door and want to start sanding and making a noise. So anyway, hopefully today will be a lot calmer. I've already put my mincemeat in the oven. That's got to cook for about 3 hours. It's been in long enough now to get out and give a good stir. It really couldn't be simpler. I put all the ingredients in a bowl yesterday and left it overnight. This morning I put it in this big cooking pot, covered it loosely in soil. Covered it loosely in foil, not soil. Still feeling headachy, still got a cold, still being a bit ditzy. Anyway, that is looking brilliant. Look at that. It's really being covered in the vegetable suet now. This morning when I put it in the oven, all the sugar had really become quite sticky and it smells amazing. Absolutely smells amazing. That's doing absolutely fine. Pop that back in the oven. Give it a stir a bit later. If you wonder why I'm still in my PJs, it's because it is really truly hideous out there and I really don't want to go outside for a shower. I know I've got to later because I've got an event to go to, but I thought that I'd do this now and then put it off for as long as possible. At least I've got a matching dressing gown and PJs. Right, let's do this. First thing I need to do is cut a disc for the top of my pudding bowl. But even though I said I was all organised and I've got everything out, I still haven't got this out. No, that's cling film. Oh, that's the one. Let's just move this chair out the way. Exactly the same as the Christmas cake. Just needs a bit of protection. If you follow me along, you'll know that I love buying pudding bowls. So actually, for me yesterday, not to measure everything out was quite unusual because I just love to use all my pudding bowls. But yesterday was quite a unique day. Most people found the funny side of it. I know some people got a bit stressed watching me. Honestly, I'm not that disorganised all of the time, just sometimes. But I'll show you the cake in a minute, and even in the chaos, it still looks delicious. And I have to say, my cakes are legendary, if I say so myself. Just check that that's going to fit. Yes, of course it does. Right, let me just show you the Christmas cake. Look at that. I soak my fruit just for 24 hours and then do the baking, and then what I'll do from now until Christmas is I will feed it with whiskey every single day, so it will be really, really boozy. I know somebody else said that they leave their fruit to soak in alcohol for months, I think it was, but I do it slightly different. Okay, so here we have the fruit for the Christmas pudding that I did a couple of days ago. I'm going to do this sensibly because I know some of you really want to know how to do this properly. I've tried out various Christmas pudding recipes and this is the one that I find the best, and I've modified it a bit over time as well. So let's start. Now it's 48 hours ago I did this, but it can be 24. I put the fruit and the nuts and various other bits and pieces in a bowl and left them to soak in brandy to absorb all the flavours. Let's go over the measurements. I use mixed dried fruit, so if I was using mixed dried fruit, which all comes ready mix, I would use 355 grams of the mixed fruit. But if you wanted to break it down, this is the ratios. So 230 grams of raisins, 50 grams of currants and 75 grams of sultanas. Also in here is 50 grams of glacé cherries, 15 grams of flaked almonds, a zest of 1 orange and 1 lemon, and the juice of half an orange and half a lemon, and 100 ml of brandy. You could use whiskey. I've used whiskey in the mincemeat and the Christmas cake, so I decided to use brandy in this. So I've just mixed that all up, covered it with a tea towel and left it overnight or for a couple of nights until you're ready to progress. And then now, honestly, it couldn't be easier. All we're doing now is adding all the extra ingredients. We've got 50 grams of suet. I use vegetable suet. 30 grams of breadcrumbs. This can be any type of breadcrumb. Just got wholemeal seeded, I think. Whenever I've got leftover bread, I just keep it for breadcrumbs. 50 grams of plain flour. I use gluten-free flour. 90 grams of soft brown sugar. Mixed all my spices up here. Half a teaspoon of mixed spice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. I need to add some salt. It should be about a teaspoon. I'm not measuring it out. Let me go and grab the eggs. As I said yesterday, when I use gluten-free flour, I tend to use an extra egg. So if you're not using gluten-free flour, just 2 eggs should be fine. I am, so I'm going to use 3. And honestly, this couldn't be simpler. I'm just going to mix this all in gently. I don't want to break up the fruit, so I'm doing it very, very lightly and just mix this all in until it's done. Making Christmas pudding, or in fact any of this baking, is not difficult, I find, because of the processes and the ingredients, and there's lots of ingredients. I find that it's really a lot easier. This is a bit of a joke really, isn't it, after yesterday's performance, but no, this is seriously how I think. It's a lot easier if you do your prep of your fruit and everything and then pack it all away and then prepare everything else. It just means that you don't forget anything and it goes smoothly, and obviously you can double check that you've got everything. That's it. Just mix round. Now it's time to cook. Now of course you could do this on Stir Up Sunday when you're meant to get together and make wishes. I always like to make mine a lot earlier than now so that I can feed it with alcohol, but each to their own. Now, some recipes do say that you can put a grease-proof disc in the bottom of your bowl. I haven't ever found that I've needed to do that, so I'm not going to do it today. Now that it's all mixed round, we're just going to pop it in here. One year, I do make really nice Christmas puddings. I think it's because I do feed it with alcohol rather a lot. And one year I decided to make Christmas puddings for friends and family, and I couldn't find the suet that I wanted, and I just bought one from a supermarket. I think it was Morrison's, and oh my goodness, they were all horrible, but of course I didn't realise that until I'd actually given them as gifts. Some people were polite enough not to say anything. As soon as I tasted my Christmas pudding, I was absolutely horrified. We left it, we couldn't eat it. And I was mortified because that was the year that I'd gone to the effort and I've made everyone one. And I've never done that since. I've just dared, and I'm sure everyone's scarred by the thought of thinking about my Christmas puddings, because I always say, when people say they don't like Christmas puddings, I always say, you can't possibly say that until you've actually made your own. The bought ones taste nothing like the homemade ones. Anyway, that is it. I pressed it down very, very lightly. I'm going to put my discs over the top. Just pop that in there. Nice and snug. Grab my foil. Oh, cling film. Again. So this is how I do it. I put some foil over the top and secure that down. And then I'm going to wrap it in foil. This is because I don't want any water getting in there. Now there was a time when I would cook this on the hob and steam it and all the kitchen would fill up with steam, but I've now found a cheats way, and I now cook mine in a slow cooker. All you do is you just pop that in. I boiled the kettle a little while ago. Just going to fill that up to about just over half. So the water is covering about half of the bowl. There we go. And I can obviously check that throughout the day. And now I'm going to put that in my slow cooker for about 5 hours. It could be longer. I'm going to leave it on a slow setting. I'm actually going out, so I'll leave it on and just look at it when I come back. And that will be absolutely delicious. When that comes out, I will then feed it daily with more alcohol, brandy or whiskey, whichever one you go for. And then on Christmas Day, you just need to put that back in the slow cooker, or whenever you decide to eat it, put it back in the slow cooker and just cook for a couple of hours, or up to a couple of hours. And it tastes delicious. What a difference a day makes. That feels so much more orderly and organised. The Christmas pudding's on, the Christmas cake's made, the mincemeat is cooking away. I just now need to pack my Christmas cake away. Run out of foil, so I'm just wrapping it in parchment paper, but I will get some foil another day, put it in a tin. There we go. I may as well start as I mean to go on and give it a bit of a feed. So I'm just filling a capful of whiskey and just drizzling it over. It's as simple as that. You could choose to prick it so that the alcohol goes in even more, but I find that I feed it so much that I don't need to do that. Right, goodbye little cake until tomorrow. I wish I was a Christmas cake getting fed alcohol every day. Now it's time to clear down, have a shower, get my glad rags on, and if I do have time I might pop back later to just peel and process a few pickling onions that I'm going to do. I'm not doing too many this year because I've still got some left from another year, but they're really nice. If I make some now, they'll be nice in a couple of years, really fiery. So if I have time, I'll do that later. But that's all from me for now. I hope you enjoyed that. A lot calmer, and I will see you again next time with a very exciting Christmas visit. Bye for now.